hated sport. I hated football. I never wanted to go to practice. I prayed. I was like, God, let it rain and thunder today so they cancel practice. Cancel practice, because,
So how'd you go from not really wanting to play sports to all of a sudden be one of the most competitive athletes on the planet?
I got to drive to the airport, take a flight to New York City, sell the ring. Like, I give the Super Bowl ring to get some cash to pay the bills. 2010, file a bankruptcy, wipe it clean. I'm just about ready to give up. Like, okay, maybe I'm supposed to just settle.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Setema Gali here. And you've seen how I built a seven-figure business. My mindset was, I'm going to. No matter what. Man, when people start to create themselves based not on the past, but on a desired future and what's really possible.
Yeah.
Oh, it's game over.
Yeah.
Game over.
Most of us resist the sacrifice. We resist the very season that is actually refining us. Lord knows I did. What did that season teach you about trust?
I remember looking at my wife and I'm like, we will not come back until this job is done.
Hey guys, welcome back. Man, you guys are in for a treat. How many times have you, set out on a journey in your life and wanted to make a difference, wanted to make a change, wanted to get something different done that hasn't been done before? Wanted to build a business, wanted to take the chance, wanted to build a relationship, wanted to have a stronger financial future, only to find yourself doing the same thing every day, same way, and reliving Groundhog's Day all over again. Well, today we're going to talk about what it takes to actually change the game. Actually take the time to actually do what it takes to actually live by principles and standards and hold yourself accountable to them that you can actually manage. Today's guest is Setema Gali, one of my best friends on the planet, amazing human being, former NFL player, Patriot, Super Bowl winner. More importantly, I tell you right now, more importantly, a man with one of the biggest hearts to serve people that I've ever seen in my life. And I'm convinced that right now it could actually change the game in your life. And right now, I want to welcome my good friend, Setema. What's up, buddy?
Scoggins, good to be here, man. I love you too, man. Thank you for having me today.
Dude, I'm super stoked. So, a lot of times when we can do podcasts, right? And obviously you travel all the time. You're all over the place. You're serving at scale wherever you can find a place to serve, right? Just how you're wired. A lot of times people will want to spend the time talking about the thing we're working on or the projects we're working on, and all that's important. But I think what I really want the audience to know is I want them to know the Setema that I know. I want them to know the authentic Setema, right? The guy that shows up every day, the guy who's consistent, the guy who actually believes in his relationships, believes in his friendships, and actually sets the tone for those things. So how did Setema become Setema? Like, walk me back a little bit and tell me I want people to see your heart, dude, because your heart is massive.
It starts with mom and dad. My parents came from the islands of Samoa, so they immigrated to the United States. I was born here in the States. But I saw my parents work countless jobs, graveyard shift, swing shift, double shift, triple shift. And I saw my parents just find a way to get it done. When I hit my 18, 19 years old, and I looked back and I thought, how'd you do it? How did you do it? And they're like, we just did it. Like, that's what you do. So that's the first piece, is just like love to mom and dad. Every time I talk about it, man, I'm like, oh, just grateful for them. And then sports, Scoggins, I wasn't very good in sports. I was horrible. I hated sport. I hated football. I never wanted to go to practice. I prayed. I was like, God, let it rain and thunder today so they cancel practice. Cancel practice, because, But something about sports shifted me. And I just found like, okay, what I learned was I'm not as talented as this guy. I'm not as fast. I'm not as strong. But you're telling me if I work harder than him, there's a good chance I can win. I'll just outwork you. Yeah. And so that's the beginning of everything for me, was like my family and then working hard.
Yeah. Well, let's go a little further. I mean, it takes a lot to join the NFL just by itself, let alone win a Super Bowl, right? So how'd you go from not really wanting to play sports to all of a sudden be one of the most competitive athletes on the planet?
So 7th, 8th grade, I'm not very good. And this is why I tell young kids all the time, if you're not very good at something, give it time. I bloomed very late. Junior year in high school, from sophomore to junior year, put about 30, 40 pounds on. And I worked out. I lived in the gym, fell in love with the gym. So get to college, do the college thing, was a captain, the poster boy, all that good stuff. And I actually really wanted to teach this thing called seminary. I wanted to teach the gospel. Gospel of Jesus changed my world, the scriptures, the word. I'm like, oh, this is what I want to do. And then the directors of that, they were like, well, why don't you just go to the NFL, go do that thing, and you can come back. So I ended up going to the NFL, ended up with the Patriots, won a Super Bowl, shortest career ever. And when I was done, I find myself with a Super Bowl ring, a college degree, and I start my life. And, you know, that is where, for me, I was like, okay, like football is not even real life to me. It's football. It's like, it's a short time. Everything's done for you. But once football was done, I had to figure out, okay, there's no school. I graduated. There's no football. There's no fall. Now what? What do I do with my life? And that was the first time in my life where I'm like, I was kind of lost.
Yeah.
I was like confused about my purpose and path.
Well, it's crazy because it seems to me that's when the birth happened of Game Changer.
Yeah.
Right? The birth of what I would refer to as real Setema really happened, right? So I've been very public about what I see you doing in the marketplace. Because as someone who is actively also trying to change lives in my own lane and stuff like that, one of the things that I've come across many times is there are thought leaders who are built to serve. And there are thought leaders who, in some cases, if I'm being honest, if we're just going to be honest in the marketplace, who like being served. And I kind of always have said that's like the Saul versus the King David, right? King Saul anointed as king and all that kind of stuff. And then obviously he goes into his world. And then at some point in time, it's all about the accolades coming to him where, David's the king in a cave. He's put into the hard mix. He's put into the hard things. And I think that kind of brings me up to like maybe one of the first questions I have as it relates to human conditioning, because you're one of the most elite performance coaches on the planet.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you.
You've worked with amazing clients, some that we would know their names and some that we wouldn't. But in every single case, like we were talking downstairs a little bit last night, tears fall every time. They're thankful that Setema entered their life, right? At just the right moment, they get that trajectory, right? And I'm getting tingles right now because I know what that's like to have someone actually believe in you for the first time when you don't believe in yourself, when you don't know where you're going. And I also learned that you don't get there without going through it yourself. Like you can't lead people out of or to from without have done that. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that space, right? And maybe some of not just the shifts that you made in that space to help yourself like really get clarity and really kind of lean in and grow yourself, but then where that fire came from right now, because it's like you live it, you go through it, and now you're like, everybody needs to know this.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe walk us through that a little bit.
So the genesis of it, the starting, I remember 19 years old. I'm serving a mission for my church. My president hands me a book called 7 Habits, Stephen Covey.
Yeah.
I opened that book up and it was like God was speaking to me. And the first thought was, I want to write a book like this.
Yeah.
To help people feel what I felt about 7 Habits. Football finishes up, and again, I remember seeing like Zig and Tony and Brian Tracy and just all these great speakers. And my heart was like, that is what you're supposed to do, more than football. Yeah. I was like, I want to be a football player and I want to shoot the guns like Bruce Smith and these different players. But I would see people on stages and I would read a book by an author and my heart always aligned. This is what you're supposed to do. And it's not only what I'm supposed to do, it's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I'm in the mortgage industry after the NFL, making great, phenomenal money, cars, homes, cash, bank accounts, and portfolio. And I'm empty. Like my heart's like, this is not what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I knew it. And I know there's some people out there who might listen to this and they're like, oh my gosh, I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
So 2006, I'm like, I got everything I feel like I wanted. And my heart just kept saying, you were meant for more. You were meant to change lives. You were meant to be like, and I think of like, whether it's Zig Ziglar or Tony Robbins and just the speakers that I saw early on. I'm like, I'm supposed to do that. And I knew it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I know it. I know God knows it. Okay, now what? And then the recession hits, 2008. So we start to lose everything. We start to hit the bottom. And, people talk about their rags to riches story. By 2008, we're starting to lose everything. And in my mind, I'm like, if I'm supposed to help people, why am I getting stripped of the resources and the money?
Literally everything.
Of everything.
Yeah.
So we find ourselves from the big homes that we built to a little 900 square foot townhome. And
how did that feel?
I'll tell you, man, like, it was embarrassing. Because everyone told me, first time with money, so I have all these cars and these nice, and I remember people just saying, that's what he gets. Like the kind of the hate, and like, he needs to come back down. And I remember just being like, is that it? Are my boys gonna know Setema is just that my dad played football 50 years ago? And by the time we have nothing, I got to drive to New York. I got to drive to the airport, take a flight to New York City, sell the ring. Like, I give the Super Bowl ring to get some cash to pay the bills. 2010, file a bankruptcy, wipe it clean. We're living on food stamps or EBT, ramen noodles. And by 2011, 4 years into this financial wilderness, I'm just about ready to give up. Like, okay, maybe I'm supposed to just settle.
Yeah.
And again, this flicker, this light inside of me is like, no.
Yeah.
You are supposed to overcome this so you can show other people how to do it, like what it really takes,
Yeah.
the grit and the grind and the purpose and the power. So I basically said a prayer. I'm like, God, I'll do anything. If I'm supposed to do this, send me, like, and I'm in my mind, I was like, just send me like a suitcase full of money. Let someone knock on my door and say, okay, here's your money. Here's your $1 million to get back on track. No, he sent me to go knock doors as a door-to-door salesman in my mid to late 30s. And I was mad. I was like, really? This is it? This is what I'm doing. I remember being in Easley, South Carolina, knocking doors, and I'm like, the tears, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? I got to go knock door to door as a door-to-door salesman. This is embarrassing. And I had a moment, like this prodigal son moment. And I was like, okay, like I told you I would do anything. And you put me here? Okay, I will be the best dang door-to-door salesman this world has ever seen. I will outwork everyone. I will outstudy everyone. And I had a 3-year run where I recruited. We made so much money. We were so blessed. We were so fortunate. Like, every night I'd come home and I'm like, so grateful for this job.
You know what's really it's sticking in my mind is like surrendering to the sacrifice. Most of us resist the sacrifice. We resist the very season that is actually refining us. Lord knows I did. So it's funny when you started talking about how you felt. You and I had some conversation last night. And I was like, I have had similar seasons. And for me, when those seasons hit me, I felt like a fraud. I felt like a failure. I felt like that everything that had been quote unquote prophesied over me, or the people that I'd worked with or talked to, or like it was all false. I felt like it was all false. And I also went through a very angry season, very angry. And it's interesting to me that it seems like part of the refinement process is surrendering in the moment of sacrifice. It's like, hey, can you just be excellent in the ordinary? Right? You know what I'm saying? Can you just be excellent in the ordinary, And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted people to see your heart, because they can look at you, dude. And you're massive. You have a massive presence. I was telling you this last night. Everywhere you go, it's like there's an energy presence that if people were sitting in the room right now, they would say, "Yeah, I can feel Setema." Like, there's presence, right? Now, is the presence all Setema? I don't think so. I think the presence is part Setema and part the divine, right?
No question.
And you're walking and carrying that. And and at least I've experienced this, when you walk into a room and you carry presence, you're misunderstood almost immediately, right?
Yeah.
And as a result, people don't always get to hear the message because you've been misunderstood, misrepresented, whatever the word is. But when people get to know the real, authentic versions of ourselves, it's almost like it creates like a magnet. It like pulls people in. And every time I watch you walk into a room and you're present with those people, every single time, lives change. Every time, without fail, without clockwork. And so I thank God for that season for you.
Oh, like this setting here reminds me of South Carolina. Like we're right just next door, right?
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful too, because you know, ask and you shall receive. I asked multiple times for years, like months.
Yeah.
Please, Lord, help me. And when I finally surrendered, I'm walking the streets of Easley, South Carolina, and I'm so angry. I'm like, what did I do, man? I tried to serve you and I tried to do good. So this, I just remember like, okay, I'm all in. I'm all in on this, and I'm going to be the best. And I remember being in neighborhoods just like this. Guys would be, I'd sell them a system. Take my golf cart. You can use my golf cart for the week. I'm like, wow. And so I surrendered, and I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
Those the times of just fire and heat, and like I was so uncomfortable. It forged me. I would. If people
You have a. What you and I talked about this. I got this new philosophy called one part lion, one part lamb. You carry it very well, but you have an iron soul, meaning this whatever God put in you is now wrapped in iron. It can't be shaken out of you.
That I've never heard it put that way. Yes, 100% agree, because like I'll never go back to not doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah,
and this is what I'm supposed to do, and like. I would go through it again, even as hard as it was. I'm like, I know what it takes to grind. I know what it takes to be laser focused. I know what it takes to develop my soul, my skills, and to submit to a process to coming out on the other side and obtaining like that promise or that prize.
Let me ask you this: what did that season teach you about trust? I know, because I that was the one thing that it taught me a great deal about. So I'm curious to hear what it taught you about trust.
Number one, I could trust myself. Like I had to build trust again. Like Setema does what Setema says he's going to do. I remember looking at my wife in 2011 before I left our little townhome that we were at. We could barely pay rent on it. I look her in the eyes and I'm like, we will not come back until this job is done. And I looked at her. I looked at my two boys. I only had two at the time. I'm like, Daddy's going to work. I'll see you guys in about 6 weeks. They came out later. So I learned how to like, okay, I can do this. Like sometimes you got, there's a phrase, we can do hard things. It's not just a cute phrase. You have to go back, no matter what you've done a decade earlier, no matter what I did in football, no matter what I did in mortgages. I had to relearn it again. So tell me, no matter how steep the mountain, you can climb it. That's the first one. Second one is I learned how to trust people again. These mentors in the door-to-door space, the coaches that I hired after, I'm like, I trust them. They told me, do this, you'll get this. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And I did. So being able to trust people and then become trustworthy, big difference, like huge. Yeah.
So what does becoming trustworthy mean?
For me, it means you can count on me. That's it. If I tell you I'm going to get it done, it's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
Like, it's done. Like, I don't need to explain it. It's done. Being trustworthy means if I tell you I'm going to handle it.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
And you can count on that. And I'm trying to teach my sons that right now. They're young and they volunteer to do things. I'm like, if you say yes now, in 3 days, it's a year. Like, I don't care what.
It's still a yes.
It's a yes. Yeah.
It's still a yes.
You know.
That's awesome. Well, all right. So before we jump into some game changer practical tips and strategies, I'd love to hear in your own words, why do you do this?
One of the first things that comes to mind, there's a scripture I learned growing up, where much is given, much is required. I've been given a lot. I've been blessed with talents and gifts. I've been given opportunities. I've been given a strong body and a voice. And so that's the first thing. It's like, okay, I'm not going to stand before God one day. And I refuse to have him look at me and say, son, I gave you everything. Why did you squander it? So I have this deep down duty, like I'm supposed to. Second one is I love people.
You do.
Like
Like you legitimately love people.
I do. Like,
yeah.
I will get in the airport. I'm talking to people left to the right of me in the elevators. Drive. Like, I just know that I feel like God gave me this thing to be able to move. So I call MTLI, move, touch, lift, inspire. Like if I'm going to walk into a place, I will leave it better than when I found it. And so that drives me. There's a sense of duty. There's a sense of purpose. And then I think the third thing, no, I don't think, I know I really, I think about my parents, my family, my kids, and I want them to be proud.
Yeah.
I want them to say, that's my husband, that's my dad, that's our son. He makes us proud. So I still strive to do right by them.
Yeah.
And it makes me happy. Like it does. I feel great when I help other people, and it just makes my day better.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Excuse me. One of the reasons I ask questions like that sometimes is because there's, again, I have this just outside looking in. When I look at the marketplace, I see people who are inauthentic trying to put themselves in a position to influence. And what I'm seeing happening in the marketplace in general is I'm watching the wave of guru die and the wave of guide rise, right? And the only way you can become a guide is to have a God story, legitimately. You'd have to have been refined, crushed, gone through some stuff to ultimately figure out what that calling, what that purpose, what that passion, what that thing is, And dude, I knew it from the first time we had our first phone call. Our good buddy Randy connected us. Gosh, it was probably a year ago. I was in Toronto, riding around with Evan Carmichael. We were in the mastermind.
That's right.
And then here, let's get a text from Randy. Hey, and just a group text. Hey, you guys need to kind of know each other. Da da da. And you were instantaneous in response. What I see people have, and the reason I'm bringing this up because I think it's a profound thing that you embody that you also teach other people how to do, which is to recognize the opportunity now. Yeah. And once you recognize that opportunity, do something with it. I believe God gives us opportunities all the time. And I believe it's up to us to take advantage of that opportunity. I've done some events recently myself, and one of the ones that I went to, there was stuff going on inside the room. It was all good stuff, not bad stuff. But I happen to know that the room was full of people they were people of influence and affluence. And as someone who in 400 years was the first Scoggins to be a person of influence and affluence, I recognize things in motion, right? And much like you, I think there's a telltale sign of becoming a true champion for God, if you will, which is recognizing that opportunity. So this opportunity pops up in the room. I say something that was real for me, but I was also simultaneously hoping it would encourage the audience to take action. They didn't take immediate action. Then I had a little bit of righteous anger pop up again, and I had to speak, and I spoke again, and then there was a response. Now, when that text came through, you had two choices. You could have waited a day, a week, a month, or whatever. And you're like, nope, Scoggins, what's going on? Let's hop on a phone call. So we hopped on a phone call, and I knew instantaneously, that God has got his hand all over you because of how you show up for other people. I really believe that. And when people are launching books and things of that nature, a lot of times it becomes about the book, right? With you, it's about the movement. The book is the precursor. It's the seed to the movement, right? So I guess, first of all, let's talk a little bit about what do you think the number one thing that you see routinely that holds a lot of the folks back? Because there tends to be common denominators and threads of what's actually holding them back. And then we're going to jump into how Game Changers changes that.
Yeah. One of the top things that holds people back is, number one, I would say, is they forget who they really are and what they're capable of. So instead of seeing themselves as this divine creator, this powerful being, this beacon of light, they're just this thing. And when they don't see themselves, when their self-concept or their self-esteem is low, that's how they behave. You know, I don't bring any value. I have no value to bring. That's one of them. The other one is what they look like to other people. I don't want to be seen starting small. What if I look like this? What if I fail? What if all the what ifs? And I'm like, these are all just these thoughts that become stories, that become Goliaths that stop people. And when people really, number one, remember who they are or who they could be or who they could create themselves to be, they go do the impossible.
Yeah.
They go change the world.
Yeah.
And when they stop worrying about what they look like to other people and they stop listening to those thoughts that become stories, they just go do their thing anyways. They just do it regardless.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy that you say that because, again, it's like, are you recognizing the opportunity in front of you? Are you embracing your divine creativity inside of you? And then what are you going to do with it, right? So for me, my limiting belief for the longest time I was probably 13, 14 years old. Dad meant well. My dad didn't come back into my life until I was around 12, chasing his own stuff. Mom, same kind of thing. They're both great grandparents and are doing great now and changed their own lives, which is fantastic. But somebody had to step into the gap to be the one to change it to begin with, to give the other people the belief to allow it to be changed. But my dad comes to me at 12, 13 years old and he says, he just lost his business. And it was another downturn in the early 90s. And he goes, Scoggins don't get ahead, they get by. He said, remember this. Scoggins don't get ahead, they get by. Let that sink in for a second. So he thinks he's giving me wisdom. He's actually giving me limitation.
Say that phrase one more time.
Scoggins don't get ahead, they get by.
Oh, man.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Talk about having this lens put on you.
And so one of the things that I've seen that your work shakes loose is the false label that you put on yourself, right? Because I think a lot of us have stories like that, right? Meaning there's at some point in time, the subconscious that kicks in, it's like talking you out of doing the thing you know you need to do, when you need to do it, how you need to do it, is the very same thing. It's just trying to keep you safe.
Yes.
And it's anchored itself back to 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, reminding you, hey, remember when this happened? Well, that made you this. And you're always permanently this, right? Talk to me a little about how that's not true.
It's not true because there's a phrase we say in one of our pieces of curriculum that says, the story that you tell the most is the story that you believe the most. And then flip it. The story that you believe the most is the story that you tell the most. Then I lived to add a phrase in there, the story that you believe the most about yourself. Yeah. Is the story that you tell the most. So most people, actually all people, the negative talk or the self-talk never stops, ever. You're sleeping, subconsciously you're running, like your operating system's running. So if you look at most people, if they were to be honest, it's negative. I'm not good enough. I don't belong. I'm unattractive. What will they think of me? It is the most ugly self-talk. Now, most people act like they don't have that, and so they do this fake, false bravado type of thing. And when we help people tell you, like, you only believe that because that is what you have repeated 1,000,000+ times. That's what you've seen. You've looked for evidence. You create evidence and you repeat it so often that that's just your reality. And then I'm like, well, what if you could change that? So the work we do in Game Changers, like, we're going to literally rewire. We're going to recreate a new version of you. And that's one of the greatest things when people say, this thing we call conscious self-creation, they're like, oh my gosh. They go from like, I'm not enough, I'm unattractive, I can never be Scoggins, we just get by, to I am powerful. I am a beacon of light. I am a lover, a leader, a lighthouse. And we start to create. And it's more than affirmation. It's a creation. It's a declaration. It's a statement. It's a literal creation the moment you say it. And man, when people start to create themselves based not on the past, but on a desired future and what's really possible. Oh, it's game over. Game over.
Game changed. Game over.
Game changer, baby.
Well, look, one of the things we were talking about last night. It was really cool to when you came to Safe Haven last night. And we had a chance to just catch up because
I was blown away. I'm like, dude, I had no idea about all this stuff you went through. I was like, oh my gosh, man.
I appreciate that, man. But one of the things that we were talking about that I thought was really important, because I think this is another limitation, and I want to get your thoughts on it, is this essence of self-sabotage. Like, so things You finally get the switch. You're finally getting progress. You're finally making momentum. The things are finally starting to kind of manifest the way you said you always wanted it, like all this kind of stuff. And then something inside of us will want to throw a grenade in it.
Yeah.
Right. So talk to me about, because I was open and honest with you that I've, especially in my relationship sectors of life early on, I've battled always trying to help people with that created chaos in general. So that's a form of self-sabotaging, which by definition is because I was jumping back into it and doing this, repeating the same behaviors again and again. I was self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about self-sabotage as it relates to, that kind of thing, because I think it's important.
Yep. So it's like, I always look at it, there's this, I call it scarcity and abundance, right? This is not a new concept. Scarcity, abundance. So people will be in scarcity, right? Their backs against the wall. They're not physically in shape. The money's not right. So they're like, okay, let's go. And they'll charge the hill. They'll work hard. They'll grind. They'll stay focused. They'll get to this place of abundance or life is good. And they get up here and they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it gets scary because it's unfamiliar territory. So to feel better, they sabotage. They take their foot off the gas pedal. They stop doing
slide back down the hill,
and they just go like this, shoot, and then they do it again, and they go. And I call this the scarcity abundance cycle. So they go from scarcity to abundance, or they go from bad to good, and then they're like, I can't seem to break it. I'm like, oh, you can't break it because you don't understand. There's other levels. It's not just this and this. There's whole other levels where if you raise the baseline, raise the just that bar. But most people, there's a phrase that's not even mine. It's like most people would rather stay in a familiar hell than go to an unfamiliar, uncomfortable heaven. So they just stay in mediocrity and that's why people self-sabotage. It's so uncomfortable to be fit, to have money, to have these great relationships. They're addicted to chaos rather than just peace and harmony.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to get peace and harmony, or it's hard to get presence.
Yeah.
Right. Until you get peace and harmony, and you only get peace and harmony through presence.
Yes.
It's such an interesting. One of the things that I know you're very gifted at, I've had the pleasure of witnessing. I get to witness it real soon, actually, is this element of immersion. Why is immersion so much more powerful than just going to an event, or what makes it just so punch in the gut?
So if you want to learn, for example, let's use an example. If you want to learn Spanish, you can go take a year of Spanish in class and, have these lessons, or you can just move to Mexico or to whatever language you're trying, and go immerse yourself, go all in. That's one of our rules, all in. And if you immerse yourself, I love the spiritual analogy, baptism, immersed in the water, you bury the dead, the old person's dead. And then when you rise, new person rises. So immersion was this concept of, let's immerse you in these principles of power, of possibility, of truth, and of light, so you can have this inside change. So the outward manifestation, the outward behavior is easy. We're not trying to force you to go to the gym. We work from the inside out. We change this, and then you go and take yourself to the gym. And you go and do the work versus me trying to force you. And if people would immerse themselves, fully go all in on the thing they're trying to do, they would see that they would accelerate, they would get there faster, but the change would be more permanent.
Yeah. So it becomes an anchor, basically.
Surely. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, look, I'm excited. The new book's out, or it's coming out, I should say. August 29th, the book will be released officially. You did something really powerful that the world doesn't know about till now. You decided to not only give the book away, but you also are giving away a couple of courses that you and your team built that are your most profound courses as part of your gift. And on top of that, as if that wasn't enough, we're doing Game Changer Live. Free.
Yes.
Right? I can pay shipping or something silly like that. But why is it I've had the luxury, because I get the early advanced copy, right? So I had the luxury of going through it, and I know how powerful and profound this thing is, right? What compelled you to want to really most people are trying to sell books and move books and whatever. Like, what was in your heart that made you say, no, this book has to be for anybody who will reach out for it?
So for 10 years, oh man, here come the emotions. Every time I think about the path that's brought me here, I get filled with emotion because it was hard. For 10 years, over 10 years, we coached people in this immersion experience, 4-day event, face-to-face, like just real in the trenches coaching. Not just people who wanted to lose 5 pounds. I'm talking people with trauma and people with businesses and things on fire and relationships. And it was a big ticket to come. It was not cheap. So we literally would have, in a year, maybe we'd have 70 to 80 people come through a year. Not a lot, maybe 100, because the ticket was so expensive. It was a $10,000 ticket.
Yeah.
And the masses is not going to do that.
Masses can't afford to do it.
They can't afford to do it. But my thing has always been unleash human potential. So again, my team's like, hey, like this message needs to go to, it needs to go to, I spoke to like a district of lunch ladies. The lunch ladies were like, I'm going to be the best lunch lady. And they're like, yes. And my team's like, how did you get lunch ladies to be like, I'm going to be the best?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to smile from now on.
And so I want the book and I want the message to get into the hands of as many people as they can, because it can change their life. It can change their child's life. It can change their marriage. It can change their family. It could change someone that they know. So I want people to feel the power of this message that God's given me.
Dude, I'm so excited. And I'm excited for a lot of reasons. Again, I got a chance to take advantage of the pre-release copy. And you need a highlighter. You need a notepad.
Yes.
You need a pen. You probably need some tissues. You need it all. And I don't know that anybody has taken the effort that I've seen in a long time to put that amount of work and that amount of energy into giving knowledge away that can actually change your life.
Look, 2018 is when we did the first release. We made a book for this event. And this is 18. We've added to it all the other things. And the reason why there was so much resistance in this book, as you know, like we're trying to get this book out for months, for years, because I believe the content and the principles and the message in the book will really, like, it will transform someone.
Yeah.
They're going to read it and be like, their heart will be pricked, their soul will be touched. They'll be like, I got to stop doing this thing. I got to start this thing. I will keep, like, I got to go now. And so we're just excited for people to get the book and to change their life, to be a better husband, father, mother, friend, brother, employee, employer. That's the point of the book.
Dude, we're going to have, it's crazy. Again, I've seen you on stage with a whiteboard and a pen. And I'm like, how is he going to do like 4 days worth of content, 18 years of content that come, like, how's he going to do that in just in one day? And here's what it was crazy, because you and I were talking about this. You were like, if they'll come, I promise you they'll be changed. I promise you. And then I started, I had the pleasure of, meeting some of the folks that have already worked with you and talked to some of them via testimonials and and I was like, I actually think he's telling the truth. Like, I legitimately think, like, they make it to the event, they snag a copy of the book for themselves. Like, they're going to change the game. They really are. Gosh, man, you and I could talk for 6 years, I think. Let's say somebody's on the fence right now, right? They're like, I've heard this all before. There's no shortage of people that have been out there like, I can transform your life. We were talking about that with marketing last night.
Yeah.
Like, I can do it. I can do it for you. Just pay me enough money, right? In your own words, what do you think is different about Setema and Game Changer, that if they're on the fence, they're like, I don't know, man, I've done this before. I've been down this rodeo. Like, I didn't get my, I didn't, like, what would you tell them? Why is now the time for them?
Because I know what I've been called to do. And if someone hears the message, not even my voice, I'm just the messenger. If someone hears and there's even just the tiniest bit of desire, I get start, stop, fail, start. That's all of us with the diet or with a business or anything. But if someone hears it and there's a piece of them that just, it flickers, there's this little ignition, this spark, I'm telling that person who can hear this, who's like on the fence, promise you, you get the book, you come and listen to the event, come, whether it's in person or virtually, I promise.
I will say this, there's not many seats for in person at all. Like just putting that out there, guys, if you guys do want to grab a seat for Game Changer Live, I would snag that. I will be there. I went ahead and snagged a VIP ticket for myself, so I'll be there for sure. But if you guys want to get a live event ticket, make sure you pick that up as well. I just wanted them to know that because the live seats.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But I would tell you, thank you. Like I put everything on it. And I always use this example. I'm like, if, again, this is not the most pleasant way, but this is real. If someone had a gun to your child's head and you had to do something, or your child died, I'm like, count on it. Like there's no way that transformation doesn't take place. There's no way that you come in and your heart is not touched. It's not pricked. There's not this like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I don't care if I failed for 50 years. There's something very powerful and spiritual and magical about hearing truth from people who just, I want people. I more than want, this is my life's purpose. This is my mission, right? This is what I'm committed to doing. And someone's like, if you hit the lottery, I was like, I'm doing what I do. I'm coaching, I'm mentoring, I'm speaking, I'm teaching. I'm still going to hit the gym. I'm still going to drink my protein shakes. I'm still going to eat my...
not some creatine gummies.
No, I'm about to say some creatine gummies. But that's my promise to people. Like, there's no doubt that if you're at all moved by this, you got to be there.
Dude. Well, I want to jump in a couple pieces of the content from the book.
Yeah.
Just because it'll be a 19-hour podcast. We try to tackle it all. You teach a concept that I'd never heard before, or especially in the way in which you teach it, which is called the protocols.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was talking to members of your team and I was trying to understand. I was like, okay, help me understand. So rather than them tell me why the protocols, where they came from, how they work, how they actually work, as far as like how they end up benefiting the end client. Like, I thought I'd just ask you. Talk to me about the protocols.
So the protocols, it's interesting, when I tried to build this back in 2007, it was all theory. So it's one thing to go to YouTube or to Instagram and to look at a cool picture and then turn around and teach it. Everybody can do that today, conceptually, as a principle. For 12 plus, well, even 14 years back to my door-to-door days, everything we teach, every protocol has been built because clients went through it. And there's protocols that are like on version 25 because like, oh, we need to do it like this. So every protocol is built to help someone physically, spiritually, relationally, financially. Every protocol is built to help people generate power every day, right? One of our good friends, Brendan, says, a power plant doesn't have power. A power plant generates power. And so I was like, yeah. So every protocol helps people to generate power on a daily basis, to strategically reset, to stay clear about what they want, to come back and to put their face in the dirt and to go to work. Every protocol came from the hundreds and thousands of men and women I love. Who trusted me, who saw one of my ads, who was like, I got to go to this guy's program. This is how wild the trust is. They would see a video. They would fill out an application. We'd be on the phone with them. They'd give us a credit card, $10K, no signatures, no DocuSign, just here's my card. They'd show up and we'd change their life. And then they'd be with us for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So the protocols in the book, they are real battle tested. They're proven. And we have thousands and thousands of case studies of men and women who like, do this, you'll lose weight. Do this, you'll make money. Do this, your marriage gets better.
Dude, I was shocked when you sent me all the testimonials. I'm like, I was like,
they're real people.
Normally you get like, I've worked, and everybody starts somewhere. It's like, I got 4 or 5 testimonials. Okay, cool. We'll use those, right? This was like, here's one Google document. Here's another Google document. Like,
because our whole focus was the people. Like the people, like I wanted to change lives. And so we got lives and we got people and lots of people who've changed their lives. So
All right. So one final question as we wrap up here, that has to do with some of the one of the methodologies, and again, there's a host of them that you have. A lot of performance coaches and leaders would say, "Hey, you got 5 major goals. We're going to help you achieve 5 major goals." And then they get to the end of the year and they made a little bit of progress on 5 major lanes, but didn't achieve any of the 5 major goals. Whereas you historically, from my understanding, will say, no, what is the number one thing you need to get done? Laser focused intensity. Why is that so much more important than trying to knock out so many things at one time?
So most people try to move a lot of things a couple inches. I tell people, pick one thing, we call it your driver, the main thing, and if we can push this forward miles, naturally it pulls everything else forward. Astronomical rates. Like, we get a guy who's, say, 350, 400 pounds. Business is pretty good, family's pretty good, but his driver becomes the physical. And he'll go drop 150 pounds, he'll start doing Ironman, and something else happens. It spills, like his marriage all of a sudden becomes better and more intimate and spicier and more just adventurous. He shows up as a father because that excellence, when you go down, if you drive something for 100 miles, you naturally, everything else tries to catch up. Instead of, let me push 10 things forward an inch, I'm like, no, we're going to get you to just drive this thing so hard, so fast, while pulling everything else forward. And what we have found is when people take this approach to life of like, hey, I have a main focus, I'm still going to bring everything else forward, but let me go be elite at this, everything gets pulled forward. And in our experience, like, lives change faster and, what's better, permanent. Permanent. Like, I don't need
because you've become a new person.
A new creature, yes. The old person dies, you rise so high that, again, if we can just bring up that baseline, now you live up here. And then this becomes the new normal. Like this and then what was once amazing becomes normal, and then we got to do it again.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. All right, bonus final question, just for fun. All right. I'm sitting here thinking, like, my own journey, what I've been through,
which is amazing.
Thank you.
Which I wish I knew more about. Until last night's session of talking, like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think we stayed up an extra 2 hours by accident. But for me, one of the components, even with laser focus, that made it hard to change was so many times I felt like I was doing it on my own. Okay, how important is having accountability and the community surround you, or how can that compound the efforts?
It's one of the greatest factors. You can work out on your own. You can do some things on your own. But when you have community and you have accountability, my team, my coach, my kids are counting on me. So I'm not just this solo rugged individualist. And in our immersion events, we would do all these crazy physical evolutions. And I would ask them, would you ever do this at home by yourself? Heck no, no way. And I go, I want you to look around here. There's 2 things. There's coaches and there's community. You can do so much more when you are surrounded by greatness. And I tell everyone who's trying to do it alone, like, go get a hammer from Home Depot, look at it, and hit yourself with it. Stop doing it alone. Get into groups like yours. Get into the communities like what we built and other people built. That's how I got here.
Dude, I love it, man. Dude, I can't thank you enough for flying all the way over here to come hang out with me today, man. I love you like a brother.
I love you too, and thank you. This has been, I needed the reset for me too, man. I did.
Bro, anytime. Where can somebody find out about the book, about the event? Like, where does somebody need to go right now?
Yeah, so go to my site, setemagali.com. And there's links on there. I'm on social. You'll find me, Instagram, Facebook, same thing, links there. But go find where it says, get your game changer book. My promise is, and it's a strong promise, if you get the book and you read and you start to listen to the audiobook, we give you an ebook.
Dude, I forgot about you guys. You give an audiobook too.
We give an ebook.
Totally forgot about that.
Audiobook, and you get the physical book. And all I'm asking you to do, pay for the shipping, and then we give you a ticket to attend virtually.
Which is something you used to charge $10,000.
Yeah, it's a five-figure ticket. So now I'm like, I want as many people in this as we can.
Awesome. And by the way, guys, I made the mistake too. It's Nolly, but it's with a G.
Yeah.
Right. So actually spell it out.
So
/game changer.
SETEMAGALI.com. Game changer.
Love it, man. Dude, thank you so much for coming on. Guys, that's going to do it for the show. Go check Setema out right now. If you have any questions whatsoever on what he does, again, it won't take you long to figure out that he's been the real deal and has been the real deal this entire time. And it's such a joy and honor to share him with you guys today. Like, share, comment, share this with a friend. I'm sure there's nuggets in here. You're probably thinking to myself, you know what? Jane down the street needs to hear this. John down the street needs to hear this. Bobby needs to hear this. Heck, my spouse needs to hear this. My kids need to hear this. Information will actually change the game when it finally gets into the person who's actually hungry to use it. Until then, we'll see you on the next build. Much love. Take care. Peace. Hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed that amazing conversation. And if you want more just like that to help you level up your life and your business, you're not going to miss this next one. Check it out.
You know, we can't solve problems that don't exist, right? I find a lot of leaders spend a lot of time solving problems that simply are not real. You don't have to be the strongest, the smartest, the fastest, have the best ideas. You don't have to be the best at anything to be the best leader.